Hi everyone, welcome back to Ian's YouTube channel called Profound Pondering. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of twins.
Thank you for the great introduction. So I'm just going to start off with the general question that we always get. What's it like being a twin?
Being a twin, I describe it, when people ask me this, I say it's a very unique experience. Would you agree?
I would say it's unique.
Yeah, it's unique. Because no one will ever understand just like, well, a single person. What are they just called? A non-twin. Yeah, like I've never thought about that.
Lame.
A single will never understand just like the bond that you have with your twin. Like that sounds corny, but like there's definitely like a level of like you two just know what's going on all the time. Like if you guys are just like in a place, you'll just know what the other person's thinking. Or even if we're if we're in an argument and we're like screaming at each other, we still know what the other person's subconsciously thinking. Like when we're arguing, and we just know.
Screaming.
But oh yeah, you know me and India got into it.
Yeah.
But then yeah, there's goods and bads, because then it's also just like there can be like some underlying resentment and stuff from the constant comparison. So.
I feel that. What's it like being twin?
Mm-hmm.
Asking me. I would agree. I don't know about that. Knowing what's in each other's head. Maybe that's because you guys scream at each other a lot. So you know each other's patterns. But we have like manipulation tactics that we can see through.
Yeah, because it's like we know that the other person's doing it, but still sometimes you might fall for it a little. Like you'll still like jump, or me and India will still jump.
We jump and then I'm like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Y'all be.
No, we've started to calm down.
It was worse when we were younger though, but it was like.
What type of manipulation tactics were you guys using?
We was gaslighting before gaslighting was a thing. That's probably like.
Give me an example.
Twins are like probably the best manipulators.
Oh, for sure.
In the world.
Give me an example.
An example?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd convince him that a whole situation happened when it didn't. Like I'll convince him that before he went to bed, he promised me that he'd give me $13 if I woke up in the morning and cut the grass. But I already had to
I've done stuff like that, yeah.
And like I would write it down on my notes and be like, Ethan owes me $13 and show him. And
that's just you being crazy. That's not a twin thing. That's you being insane.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, because he would do the same thing almost, bro.
Insane.
That ain't even my insane moments, bro. We all had our moments.
Oh, you've had your insane moments.
I had.
For sure. Should I bring him up on the podcast?
Huh?
Should I bring him up on the podcast?
How me and Ethan used to get into it?
No, it's fine. But
you can't talk. What are you talking about?
That's the crazy thing. But I also think that just like, do your parents like are like, I'm not intervening, but maybe that's just siblings. Like sometimes I don't know the difference between just like twin relationship and if other people have this, because I know other siblings do struggle from comparison. But I think with twins, it can be like a different level of comparison, because it's just like wherever you go. Because I feel like with siblings, it's like, oh, your family compares you. And then like teachers, maybe in school, whatever, coaches. Yes. Yeah. But then you can escape that when you're hanging out with your friends, your own friend group. But then when it's like twins and you're in the same friend group, and then it's just the comparison continues. Like you can't escape it. Like, low-key, that's why I was scared to go to the same college as India, because I didn't want that comparison to follow. Like, I've already heard little slick comments. Fortunately, I'm not as insecure as I was in middle school, so I'm not starting to build up a resentment towards her because of it, and I realize that people are just ignorant and say what they want. But, like, I've already heard little things like, oh, she's, like, way more outgoing than you, or, like, oh, or, like, who's smarter, like, blah, blah, like, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. That's why I'm happy we don't go to the same school. Because when I got on to Cincinnati, it's like we're distant cousins who just met up and haven't seen each other in a long time. It's not like a lot of comparison, thankfully.
Yeah.
But as children, I feel like once you're a twin, you like it gets rid of a lot of the excuses you could use to like justify differences between you two. Like if we're both doing the same sport in the same event and one's better, it's just like.
Oh,
damn,
yes.
You just got to take the L.
Yes.
But if we're like different generations or something, you'd be like, oh, he had more time, or he had a different coach or something like that.
That's such a good point. Yeah, it definitely takes away a lot of excuses. Because then it's like, okay, you guys are literally doing the same thing. So why is one of you performing, the other one isn't? That's why I had a breakdown. Do you remember this? Freshman year.
Yeah, I do. And you
and
were gonna
India,
quit.
yes, and India wanted India to run track. And I was like, this is the only space I have where I'm not getting compared, because she was doing lacrosse, which is in spring. Like, we both did volleyball in the fall. Yeah, so constant comparison. We both did club volleyball throughout the entire year. So, again. But then the one place where we weren't getting compared was spring, because she did lacrosse and I ran track. And then my coach was like, oh, India's fast too. I know she's fast too. Maybe she can just run like an event. And I just immediately started crying. And my coach, the one coach, she had like no empathy, because she was like, that's just you being selfish, like blah, blah, blah. It would still be better for the team as a whole if she ran because she's fast. But then the other coach came to my side, because she has twin nieces. And she was like, sometimes twins have some problems with this. So maybe just like let her just cry. Yeah. And then whatever happens, happens.
We just had to separate events.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally the only way you could do it. Because I used to high jump. Then I was like, nah. I'll do something else. Because one time he beat me and I was just like, honestly, one time he beat me in like 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing long jump at the time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'll just stick to long jump. I was like, I don't really care about this enough. Mm-hmm. It's not worth it. So I'm gonna go over there.
That's true, because it's like you really have to be passionate about something to want to share it, or to be, not to want to share it, but you have to be passionate enough, to stick out
to not let it
the comments, you, and like impact your mental and stuff. Like, I literally couldn't play. I didn't want to play club because I didn't want to play another season together. But it just was too much. It's too much, because also, like I said, if you're just together all the time, and we're very different people, it was just too much.
You guys are very different. I feel like me and Ethan are a lot more similar than you and India are.
No, I would say you guys are more different.
You think so?
I think me and India are really alike, underlyingly, in different ways. Like, I think, yeah. Like, I think you two are way more different than me and India.
Why do you think that is?
But also, if you're saying that, but if you're saying that you think that you're more alike than us, then maybe that's just because of our own relationships and we know who we are.
Fair. Well, after you said that, I was like...
You do realize that you and Ethan are different?
No, after you said that, I realized that you and India are really similar.
Yeah, and you two are kind of similar too, but just like express it in different ways. I think that's me and India too, though. You guys like this, like similar mannerisms, similar like thought process to things, but then like we just express it differently.
I feel like you guys express it very similarly.
Like a little. Me
and my brother's expression is a lot different, though.
Yeah. Like you guys don't have like similar mannerisms and stuff. Luckily. And I slid up on Ethan's story and I said, me and India look super different as a whole. Like, I normally have my hair curly and red. Like, you guys wouldn't know that. But normally it's like curly, red, like whatever, big. I'm 5'10", she's 5'7". Her hair is normally like long, blonde braids. I'm brown skin, she's light skin. And so, but then like our facial features look more alike. Whereas like you and Ethan, your facial features look nothing alike to me. Like you guys look nothing alike. But then as a whole being, yes, you guys can tell you guys are twins. But it's also like, are you guys just black males? Tall, strong black males.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. You guys don't look alike to me at all. Like at all. I don't get how people confuse you ever. But maybe that's just because I've known you since I was like 6.
Does that look like Ethan at all?
No, Ethan, it doesn't.
Because Ethan started off with difference. He had glasses. So he automatically looked different.
No, that's not even it, though. When he took them off, you guys still don't look alike. Okay, let's see. You look nothing like him. But also, that's just a thing, too. Have you noticed this? When people, if you tell a person that you're a twin, then they're more likely to mess up you guys' names. Versus if you never told them you're a twin, they'll be like, oh, hi, Aaron. Hi, India. Boom. You let it know that you're twins. They just cannot figure out who is who.
That's a good point. Because some people say we don't look alike, then still call me Ethan.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
I think it's like the schemas. I learned about this in psych. You took psych,
I did
right?
take psychology.
Schema theory. Once you know that that they're twins, I think it's just like programmed in people's brains. And then they're just like, who is who? Because I do the same thing to other twins.
You've never called me.
But that's because I've known you for so long. Twins that I like just have met. But no, I don't really, because I try to be conscious because I understand what it's like.
I don't think I've ever referred to you as India.
I don't think you have.
I don't get it. I think we just had that.
I've probably called you Ethan like one time in a rush because your names are similar.
Like that is probably something.
Yeah, it's just because like the Ethan, E-N.
We kind of.
Haven't people called you Ethan that didn't even know you? Or didn't even know you had a twin named Ethan?
Bro, when I first interviewed at my summer job, he called me Ethan. Nobody, and then Andrew and Adam were looking at me like,
what?
Does he know? Does he know Ethan? I was like, how do you? I don't know, bro. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's I don't even know, because my name doesn't look like Ethan if you spell it out.
Someone called you Ethan on accident too. We were talking about you. You know, it was someone, but they were talking about you to me, and then they were just like, oh, Ethan, and then I said, huh? They're like, oh, I meant Ian. And I was like, oh, you know about his twin? They were like, he has a twin? And I was like, how is this happening? That's crazy.
I couldn't even tell you. See? You're not doing that at all.
Oh, God, you're going to have to put it low.
Never mind.
Do you think, I have a question.
Okay.
Can I ask the questions?
I don't care.
Do you think that there is, like, you know how there's stereotypes of a twin?
Sure.
Do you think that there's normally a twin that acts in more of a certain way?
Like how me and you are more similar?
Like, this is what I'm saying. I didn't want to say it. But do you think that is true? Because low-key, to an extent, you normally find one. But also, no, because if you compare any two people in life, one's going to be more or less of something. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but,
I kind of just asked you 50 things. So.
I know, but I feel like with our specific circumstances, it's like, I don't even know. That's a great question. But
because, like, if we think of other twins we know, too, I don't want to, like, name drop. But, like, I guess I could say it now. You're going to cut it out. Like Zoe and Amelia, for example. Zoe and Amelia Whitley.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Zoe would be like India Ethan. Amelia would probably be me, you.
Okay. I feel that.
Let's think. Like John and Andrea. I don't know.
Let's not.
I don't know them.
I don't know if it works for boy or girl twins.
I wonder how the dynamic is different with boy and girl twins.
You don't have to compare yourself as much.
I feel like probably that's just more like in like academic settings or like whatever. But also no, because like, okay, if the boy's smarter than like people kind of expect boys to be like smarter anyways, but not really, because then it's like, okay, if their girl is smarter, then it's just like, okay, girls work harder, but just like stereotypes. Right. I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down, because you're making some crazy faces right now.
I'm sorry,
I don't know.
I make faces all the time. Yeah.
But I don't know. That would be super. About boy and girl twins. I don't know what that's like.
I don't want to know. What if we were just twins?
I know. Sometimes I feel like we are.
Exactly. And it's not that difficult.
But no, because we don't live together. We aren't actually twins.
Fair.
So we don't actually experience that comparison.
I guess.
We've never been compared, me and you.
Well, yeah. Well, how would people compare?
Or like Lily and Nick, for example.
I don't see them getting compared a lot.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but like, yes. I just think it's probably just less like physical. It's probably just regular achievements are being compared in general, but not like the personality. Actually, no. I think personality can be compared because like.
But yeah, I think that growing up as a twin, you're kind of forced to reject some parts of the other's personality in order to find your own individuality.
I'm confused. Expand on
so
that,
like,
please.
if he a certain way, I'm going to consciously go another way.
I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. Because then if you do that, it's like you don't want to just become like a sub part of them.
Right.
Especially because like with me in India, in like middle school-ish times, and like probably beginning of high school, she was like considered like the outgoing one, whatever.
Facts.
So then I definitely took it upon myself to be like, okay, well fine, I'm going to be the smart one, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to make sure that my grades are perfect, and that, okay, I'm shy, and I don't want to talk to people because I don't want to. Like, I made it, that became, like, who I was. Even though, deep down, I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to go out. I wanted to, you know, like, be who I was on the inside. Because I don't know. I feel like I definitely used to be a lot more introverted. And then, like, when she switched schools, I think I, like, came out of my shell more because I probably was less consciously trying to change and not be like her. Don't you think I became a lot more extroverted? Like,
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that was going to, I don't know. I feel like...
Yeah, like if it was just to happen naturally.
Yeah, because I feel like I got more extroverted as high school went along.
But do you guys think you guys, like, split up a little bit more?
Yeah, actually. That's a good point.
So maybe that's why, or what, not why, but, like, it helped the process.
But we still had, like, the same friend group, which is strange. But we, like, us hanging out, like, we didn't hang out with each other.
Yeah. No, people would talk to me about that sometimes. They'd be like, are Ethan and Ian even friends? Like, did they even like each other? And I'd be like, they're brothers. But people said that to me here because me and Indy didn't hang out that much at the beginning. Because why would we, huh?
I said that too.
To us? About us?
I was like, I've never seen you two together. You go to the same school.
Yeah, but it's also like, okay, if we were to room together, hang out together all the time, people would be like, oh, that's weird. Like, you guys can't make friends. But also, we have very different interests and we have very different types of people that we like to surround ourselves with. So it doesn't make any sense for us to be friends, hang out every single time. But also, she'd come over to my dorm. We just didn't post it every single week. So I don't know why people were all in our business. And people have, I don't know.
All up in your business.
No, but it's just like weird because it's just like that wouldn't happen to just like regular friends.
That's true. Yeah, why do they expect us to want to be
like
near each other?
I don't understand that because I'm just like, if we're different people, but we're also sisters, like, and they acted, because I would see her out all the time. And I'd run up to her, we'd run up to each other, oh my God, India, oh my God, Aaron. So I'm like, what makes you think we don't like each other? Like, did they just expect us?
No, I get why they said me and Ethan didn't like each other.
Yeah, you guys
we weren't different. We just like,
yeah.
What did they expect us to do?
I guess that's true because I guess I thought that about you guys.
Like, what did they expect us to do? Like,
it's just like you're friends. Like, the dynamic is friendship. When you're in a friend group, I feel like the dynamic just takes on a friendship, and sometimes you're more or less close to different friends.
And we didn't like, at home, we weren't like, oh my God, let's do this because we're twins. We weren't like that.
Never been like that.
So when we're in a friend group setting, we're just going to act like we're
No.
friends. Like, what are we supposed to do? I'm supposed to favor him just because he's my brother? Like, I mean,
because it's like, we can still, like, you're still a person. Like, I can still recognize the flaws. You can still recognize the flaws in me. Like, there's certain things that me and India will probably never agree on. But still, we're going to love each other.
Facts.
You're still going to love Ethan no matter what.
For sure.
But sometimes, okay, maybe you don't want to hang out every single second.
We didn't hang out, bro. Like, we used to, I don't even know, like, I'd say like 5th grade is when we stopped.
Yeah.
That's when we stopped hanging out with each other. Like, I used to be on the game. I'd be like, you trying to play? He'd be like, no, I'm cool. I'm finna go do nothing. That's what we were doing in 5th grade. But it continued to be like that. And then, like, we just started making, like, different friends. And we just started getting closer to other... Like, you were closer to other people, like...
Because he was, like, Dre...
Yeah, Dre, Carl, blah, blah, blah. I was, like, Giles, Andrew.
Yes, yeah.
So, like, we would just be separate anyways.
And you guys are just two completely different vibes. So it just, like, doesn't make sense. It does make sense, but it only makes sense because you guys are brothers.
True.
Like, people wouldn't just naturally be like that. Like, me and Indy have had this talk before. Like, I wonder if we'd be friends if we were twins. Because I do think, I think we would be friends if we were twins because we wouldn't have that underlying...
If we weren't twins. Now.
Yeah, but I'm saying we wouldn't have... I think our personalities would still, like, mesh really well. Because when we are having fun and we're getting along, we're having so much fun, laughing, doing whatever. But I just think that, like, the underlying resentment, and as I was talking about earlier, is, like, what's hindered our friendship within our sisterhood, if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, but if you feel like part of your identity is built off being a twin, then how are you sure that you'd be, like, the same? You feel like you'd be the same if you weren't twins?
I don't know. That's a crazy question. Do you think you'd be the
same? Bro, no. I think being a twin is, like, hella character development.
It's so much character development. No one talks about it. I literally used to say, I probably shouldn't say this. You might have to cut this out. But I'll can't even say this.
I'll decide whether or not it's...
I'd say if I had twins, if I got pregnant and they were twins, I'd abort it.
My mom said the same thing.
Are you serious?
I have a video of her saying, well, she was joking.
Yeah, but like, and of and like, I'm joking too, but like, not really, because it's kind of traumatic. Being a twin in like middle school years, it's literally traumatic. And I sound like I'm being dramatic.
No, you're not, because I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's traumatic.
Like, imagine liking a girl and then she ends up liking your twin.
Oh my God! Because like, yes, they can happen with other siblings, but like, okay, if your friend likes like the older brother, okay, fine. You lost out to an older brother. No, you're losing out to someone that's literally your DNA. It's crazy. Like, do you know how many? Oh my God, that's happened to both of us. I think that's why we're alike, because like we just had like those experiences. But that's happened to Ethan too. I don't know if not to the same.
Well, because I never.
We shouldn't be airing out our business. I'm kind of confused on what type of stuff is gonna be going in this. Because
you can say that, but like, as long as no details.
Yeah.
I didn't like when that was happening. I would like if I knew it was happening. Like whoever it was would be out of my mind.
Me too.
Because that's just like, I didn't mess with that. Like I know how it impacts your mental, and I was like, I'm not gonna put bro through that.
Like it's actually just traumatic. Or when you do something really cool, because it's also on the flip side. Like you were talking about. If you're the one who like people are like, oh, like you're better than your twin. Oh, you're funnier. Oh, you're smarter. Oh, you're cuter. That literally also makes me feel like garbage because
I don't want that.
Yeah, don't talk negatively about my sister because just because you think it's gonna uplift me. Because no, now I just feel bad knowing that, knowing that people are putting down your sister.
Yeah, I always felt like I never got pride from that. Like people,
that's
I like you more than your brother. I'd be like, okay. You'd be like, you're my favorite, Brian. And
people
I'd be like,
said that to me in India too. Yeah.
And it always be. Anyways.
Always who? Girls?
No. High school, bro, I was chilling. I was a chill dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
You were.
Still.
Bye. Yeah. Because the middle school ages are just such like a trivial point
when you're
in your
growing
life.
up, bro.
Yeah.
And I hit puberty before him.
She hit puberty before me. Oh my God, that was abuse.
Well, I guess for a guy it's a little different.
Yeah,
you guys probably had
like,
it worse.
Especially because as a girl, like, your body is like, and like how you look, that is such a huge part of like when people like you. Like, pretty privilege is extremely real. So it's like, if I'm like underdeveloped, like I didn't get my period until a year later than her. So like if I'm like way underdeveloped, I'm taller, I still haven't grown into like my body. Like I'm just like a lanky, basically look like a little boy. And then like there's her looking great. She looked great. And it's just like kind of tough because then it's just like you're already comparing yourself to other girls. But then when it's like, oh, when you're a twin, because I also know, because this is the craziest part. We sometimes forget, like you're so busy wallowing in your own stuff when you're like a twin and wallowing like, oh my God, this sucks for me. Like we forget it sucks for them too. Like they go through exactly the same stuff that we're talking about. Don't you forget that sometimes?
Sometimes.
They go through the exact same things. Because me and India have had so many talks where, like, sometimes, let's say, like we were talking about before, like, let's say we haven't been hanging out recently, whatever. And then, like, we notice we're arguing more, like, everything's just getting on each other's nerves. Then we just try to sit down and have, like, a talk. And we're like, what's going on?
We weren't that healthy.
Well, we were more like that towards the end of high school.
Ours never got to that point where we felt like we needed to talk about it.
Yeah.
All of our stuff was always surface level. It was never, like, deep.
I feel like you guys have had some deep stuff. Maybe we just didn't. You guys have had some deep stuff.
Deep stuff? When we didn't talk. We more so changed our actions. I'd say that.
I think, yeah.
Because when I was on my rampagent adolescence, and we used to get in fights, and I used to mollywop for no reason.
We were going crazy.
But look. I'll tell you this. That low key started the whole profound movement, bro.
Really?
Because one time I was like, he was like, why did you do that? I was like, damn.
I don't know.
Why am I doing this? And I was like, shit. I'm gonna start meditating. I ain't touched, brother. Since that was at 13.
Really?
Yes.
Dang, that's crazy. What was I saying before that? Oh, about how the other person goes through it. We've had some talks, and then we've been like, oh, I've said how I felt like, you know, with the comparison with whatever was going on at the time. And she'd say, I was feeling exactly the same way, you know? So then, except in like a different lens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember this one talk that we had that was just like the craziest moment of my whole entire life. This completely changed my perspective on our relationship, on like empathy, on everything. I remember, basically, at the time, I had like 3 like really close friends, like best friends. Like, they'd be just super best friends. And like, they'd be like crying to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just hang out just one-on-one, could spend the whole day together. We'd be on FaceTime, whatever. But then they would go out with their friend groups or whoever, and I just would be like really sad and like lonely. And I was like, I have no one. I felt like I was like, okay, I have these best friends, but they don't think I'm good enough to invite to like a group. So like, I can never do anything on like a Friday or Saturday. Meanwhile, and then I told her this because I was like crying. Then she was like, that's really crazy because this whole time I was like, oh, but I forgot a part. Because then India would be out every Friday, every Saturday, huge groups, everyone loved her. But then she told me that she was like, I was feeling like kind of, not envious, but you know, like just like I wish I had more close friends. Like I feel like I'm always out, I'm always doing something, but like I don't really have anyone to FaceTime, anyone to like hang out one-on-one, like a best friend. And I just was like completely in shock because I thought she was like living the time of her life, having just like, you know, and she thought I was just like
We were living
great because whatever.
Yeah. I said we were living the same experience because he would be out and I'd just be like, well, like I didn't have friends that hung out with other friends. But like when we didn't get together as a group, it would just be like that. And he had like the other section of people and he would go to like parties and stuff before I even started going. Like I didn't go to parties till like junior year.
Same.
Because I was like,
I started like sophomore year maybe.
They was at sophomore parties. I remember my grandma dropped him off one time. She was like, "You're not going?" I was like,
"Oh, I had so many of those when you don't get out the car and then everyone's like, come on, no, come."
I was like, I'm cool.
I don't need a pity invite. Thanks.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just chilled at home.
And then,
huh?
Did you have a talk with him about this? Like, was he like saying that he?
Mm-mm. The only talk we've had was about how I was in my adolescence.
What about how he was?
I did say that. I was like, how do you think I was, we were on vacation in Mexico. This is like the first time we ever talked about it. We just screaming at each other. And he was like, yeah, bro, you used to be crazy. And I was like, how do you think I got to that point? I was like, there had to be something going on with me for me to even do that. I was like, you got to look on the other side. He was like, silence.
Shut him up.
Shut him up.
Yeah.
I was crazy, though. Shut him up, though. But you have to.
I think the craziness comes from somewhere, though. Because me and you were crazy.
It did, because I used to hate how he got more attention. It felt like he got more attention.
It felt like it for me, too. But then I would talk to her. She'd say it feels like you're always getting the attention.
Nah. But then I wouldn't even get it from him. So the only way I could get it from him was to
do crazy
force
stuff.
It. Yeah.
Really?
That's how I felt. Yeah. I'd be like, bro, come on.
In what way was he getting more attention?
Felt like my parents and siblings.
Them too?
Well, I don't know. We had like a sibling hierarchy. Like I used to only.
You told me about this.
Yeah, I used to only mess with my oldest brother. I mean, I mess with all of them. Don't get me wrong. My oldest brother, because we had the most distance. Mm-hmm. So we never had no problems. And he used to tell me stories about they used to be like, man, Ian's off the chain. Man, he did this and that to me. He did this. He was like, he ain't never did that to me.
What were you even doing?
I don't know. I was a rambunctious kid. I used to have so much energy.
I got so much energy.
But in school, I used to be. I was a goofball until 4th grade when I got like 8 slips at home. And I got so many threats. But then I chilled out.
I don't even remember this. Huh? I didn't know you were like crazy. I didn't know you were that bad. I'm not going to say crazy, but I didn't know you had so much going on.
Inside here?
Yeah. Because I know that working out was like an outlet for you.
Oh, that's because I took one too many L's. And I was like...
Oh, and your crying problems?
That's resolved. We don't need that no more. We're healthy.
You can cry now?
Yeah.
Give me a hug. That's awesome. Proud of you.
Bro, it used to be a tough time. But you know what? As a kid, you never really realized like how much that little stuff will impact you.
What little stuff?
Like all the little
comments.
Not even like you don't realize why you're doing what you're doing until you're like much older.
Yeah, that's true. Because I'm probably gonna look back at stuff I'm doing in college now and be like, yeah, why were you doing that? No, I'm just saying, like, with time, like, you definitely realize, like, I've spent so many hours probably analyzing how I came to where I'm at and how me and India's relationship has evolved. I've spent so much time analyzing that. I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, people just never understand. Not that it's, like, but sometimes I honestly wouldn't wish it on people. Because, like, you have to be, like, you have to be strong. It's a strength.
You have no choice.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a strength that you have to develop. Because it's just, like, otherwise you can't. No, you can't survive, especially in middle school when people purposely try to be mean and purposely try to hurt your feelings. Like, I bet we both remember comments people have said to this day where you were sitting, what you felt in the moment when someone said a certain thing that compared you and Ethan. Like, do you have, like, moments that you can think of?
Sure.
I have events. I have moments.
I have events where I was like,
and I know exactly how I felt. And sometimes, and like, I remember last year, someone said something to me like as a joke, oh, that's why you're the ugly twin. And I know I'm cute. Shut up. But I have no question in my mind that me and India are both beautiful people on our own, together, whatever. No doubt in my mind. But still, when he said that, I completely froze up. Like, I didn't know. My face got so red. I started sweating. I didn't even, like, my face is getting red now. I'm getting traumatized again. But I didn't even, like, that took me back to, like, being, like, 12 years old, just, like, praying that, I don't know. I used to pray.
I used to pray, too.
Really?
But I was always, like, a little bit more muscular. That was, like, since I was a kid.
Yeah.
They said I came out the womb stiff.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't...
Well, because you took all his food.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
They said I was still like one.
Okay, but still, that's just because you guys were both
premature,
malnourished.
Yeah, but that's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, my eyes are about to water thinking about it.
Do you need a break?
I can't even. Don't even put this in the podcast. People are gonna know what to use against me. Just kidding. I don't care.
What can they use against?
No, because I just used to be so insecure.
You feel like you're over that? Or you feel like it's
I think I'm over it until I get to certain moments and then it can come back. But I know how to like deal with it and how to make it go away easier and not dwell in it. Because I'd just be replaying the moments in my head when I was younger. Just like beating myself up. Let me sit up straight.
My posture's great.
Do you have any more questions?
Oh, I've only used one.
Oh, wow.
See? I'm telling you, it's a convo, bro.
We probably hit a lot of points.
A little bit. So when do you feel like you found your individuality?
I think probably throughout high school when I started doing more things that I was passionate about. So like core, like just getting more involved with school and just, I don't know. Maybe, and also when I had to make my own friends, because I do think that like our like friend group, sometimes it felt more her focused. So then like
that's because you never wanted to. You didn't do reaching out.
That's not true.
You'd never be like, come over.
Because I felt like I was just like a background character. So I was just like, okay, whatever. But I think when I started to find my own friends, like when I became friends with like a Desi and Hillary through track, and like I had my own accolades and people liked me for myself, then I was just like, or instead of just like, because I also think that I could sometimes cling on to her like outgoingness and like just like kind of add on, or I think of us as like a unit. So then when I was forced to be like by myself and make my own friends and do my own thing, then I think that's like when I started to realize, okay, Aaron, people can like you for yourself, not just because of your sister. So I think like definitely track. Because even in volleyball, I was still doing the same thing because like we were together and that's just all I knew to do. So yeah, love them at the time because yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
Got to learn about myself. What about you?
When did I find mine? When I was like my full individual. I started when I was 13. That's when I was like, I should do better. Then I started taking like honors classes because I was in the goofy classes because I thought I was stupid. All the way from like
now look at you
from like kindergarten. They put me in that gap, man.
They did. That was crazy.
They threw me down there and talked about, oh, you do subtraction, they'll do division. That set me back. I still don't know my full grammar. I know it now. But yeah. Then I started doing that. Then I started becoming better at school, even though I was like still bad. But then I ended up being like good at school. I don't know. I don't really know how that worked. I kind of just got lucky. I feel like my friend group really helped me because we're all like overachieving black men. Not even. We shouldn't even be overachievers. We should just be achievers. That's what I wrote my essay about.
Hey.
I remember when y'all read the essay. I was hating. You were hating. Because I had a sentence that sounded like mad philosophical. And he was like, what does this even mean? I remember
Probably.
it was like the association with the abstract stereotype causes comfort in the something like that.
You're always trying to use some words, but I like it. You're teaching me things.
Trying.
Philosophy. Facts. You use them.
I use them.
You use them. You eat it up, too. I apologize for hating.
It's okay.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, what were we even talking about?
Individuality.
Yeah, what was the question? So you found it when you were 13?
I think I finally found it, like, maybe
This
the
year?
end of junior year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say same.
Because I was like, stuff he did didn't impact me anymore.
I get that.
Like,
I get that.
he would do something, I would just be like, okay. It would just be an okay moment.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get invited somewhere? Okay, because I remember as kids.
Yes!
I remember as kids.
Yes!
When he used to get invited, like, to sleepovers, I used to, like, oh my God, I was down with that. Like, he'd get invited to, like, Robert Kimmel and them. Back when he was friends with that circle. Back, like, in elementary, I used to be like, dang.
Just
I
used
to be sick, so I used to call random. I'd be,
oh my God!
I'm like, you would have a sleepover at my house? And my mom used to be like, yeah, we'll do it.
Who would you be calling?
Oh, let me think. Like, one time he went out with, like, Will Clark for Halloween.
Who?
And William Clark? Will Stark.
Oh, I was about to say.
Stark. He went out with him for Halloween, and I had nobody to go with Halloween. So I was like, dang. And I was like, what are we going to do? So I was like, Mom, ask Daniel Gasol's mom. Me and Daniel weren't that cool yet. Ask Daniel's mom if I can go over and we go trick-or-treating. I went trick-or-treating with Daniel. It was like that, bro.
That is so crazy. Anytime she would go out when I was younger, too, or like literally exactly what you're saying. Like, I'd feel such immense pressure to have something else going on too. Like, I'd be like, please. But I think maybe that's how I developed such good, close friends. Because when she was out, I'd be like, I can't be alone right now. Like, I need to be doing something too. So I understand when you're saying that you found yourself when you stopped caring. Because now, like, especially senior, like you said, during that summer, either I'd be doing my own thing already, or if she came, or if she got invited to something, I didn't care. I'd just be chilling at home if that's what I wanted to do. That's a great point. I think it was more senior year, though. But also I had a boyfriend, so
when I started being profound. That actually helped a lot, too. Because I feel like, bro, when I first started writing, it was literally just self-help. It was straight that. And I was just like, how do we find out who we are? So if you look at some of my old stuff, I deleted some videos too. Like my first couple ones, because they were like literally so terrible.
How have you seen your channel grow?
How have I seen it grow? I've seen myself grow. Like it gained an identity, I think.
Oh, what's the identity? How would you describe it? Okay.
Because before it was just like just a collage of just people talking. And it was never my perspective. It was always me interviewing people. But now, then it was like just me. And I was like, let me just incorporate some people. You know, just get a group consensus, make sure we all on the same page. Type. So yeah. End of junior year, that's when I was like, maybe myself. You know?
Yeah. I'd probably say the beginning of junior for me. But that's interesting.
Do you feel like your parents helped you at all? In like being an individual?
I don't know. I'd say they can help and hurt because helping in the way that she's helped us like calm down from some of these issues and like she's told us not to compare ourselves. Like when we were younger, she used to not let us see our math and reading scores because she didn't want us to like think any type of way. Mm-hmm. Which that's isn't, like that's not wrong. But then eventually you have to start knowing your test scores because like that's just, it is what it is. Like, but so then that kind of went away. But sometimes they can also hurt though because like, I don't know. Like sometimes she just makes like little comments like, why don't you tell India to do this too? Or like, I'm sure she probably said stuff to like India too. Like, especially when I was younger, like, why don't you tell Aaron to like come out with you or like stuff like that? Yeah. Or why don't you tell Aaron to socialize? Because India has a banging personality. Banging. But I also think I do too. You know? Mm-hmm. But I also think like I would just like kind of turn it off when hers was on. Hers is always on. Because that's just who she is. She's literally awesome.
I didn't even figure out I had one.
I didn't think I had a personality. I could pull up a notes about saying I don't have a personality. Like, I don't even know who I am. Either.
Yeah. That's what I was doing, bro.
My notes are... Your journal is probably similar to my notes. Because,
I was like...
So, like, it can definitely help in her. Because, like, I don't know what I'm just talking about. Because my dad doesn't really, like, say stuff like that. Because he's more just, like... My dad's super chill. You gotta do what you want to do. Yeah, he's really chill. Like, he's not ever gonna, like, compare us or, like, make us feel bad. And not that our mom is purposely trying to make us feel bad ever. It's just, like, a motherly thing. Like, you're just so connected.
I think they just want and they want us to be happy. Like, if they see 160, they're like, oh, I want that for you, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, when I first started applying to college, I did it early. Mm-hmm. Earlier than Ethan. Mm-hmm. She's like, why aren't you on top of your stuff like his? And I was like, Mom, you just have to be quiet.
Yes, like, just don't say that. Or you could just say, why aren't you on top of it? Instead of adding, like, the, like him, like her. Like, that's the part that's not necessary. What if you had a twin? Do you think that you would, like...
I do have a twin. You mean if I didn't?
Like, as a father. Like, if you were, like, a father of a twin.
Oh, if I had twins?
Like, do you think that some of that stuff might come out of your mouth still? Like the comparison type of things?
Comparison brings... Sometimes it's motivation, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I was doing bad at school, I was like, if he could do it, I can do it, too. Mm-hmm. With stuff like that, I feel like... And I feel like that's moved into, like, everybody. Because if I think it's, like, humanly possible, I know I, too, can do it. Mm-hmm. But if it's, like, something physical and, like, my knee's broken, I don't care if I can't jump anymore.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, I feel like there's certain things that you have to pick and choose. But, like, with my children, if I was to have twins, I would try not to compare them. Different than how I was. Well, it'll probably end up being the same. In all actuality, we always say stuff like that, and then it ends up being the same. You have no idea
what type of parent or whatever you're going to be, just even, like, with your trauma. And I already know. Because I would hope that I also wouldn't be the type of parent who would, like, okay, if I have, like, the trauma of being, like, the quiet twin. Because there's traumas that come with both. Clearly. So I think, like, I could definitely relate more to my dad. My mom could relate more to India. But I hope I don't become... Yeah, I know. Me and my dad are twins, and India and my mom are twins. But I think that, like, I hope that I wouldn't become the type of parent that, like, over-sympathizes with, like, the one that I relate to more.
But...
Because do you think your parents maybe did that?
Yes, they did. Like, do you think you'd be better off if you and India were just siblings growing up? Like, better off as in, like, do you think you would be a person you respect as much as you respect yourself now?
That's an insane question.
It's one of the good...
It's kind of like what we were talking about before.
Yeah, but it's like, do you feel like you'd be somebody better than yourself right now?
No. Because I also think that it's given me a huge perspective. Because I think, like, a massive perspective that's wider than a perspective that single people, I don't know what to call them, non-twins, will never have. Like, I know better than to walk up to someone and, like, say stuff that's purposely going to hurt them. Or, like, stuff, and maybe that's just general people, but, like, I know not to say certain things, especially comparing types of things, or just, like, things that they're insecure about. I don't know. I don't know if that comes from being a twin, but like I don't know. I also think just because of like how my personality has shifted throughout being, like I was talking about earlier, I think that it just gave me also like I can talk to people who are like more quiet because like I know how I used to want to be interacted with versus like now. So if I didn't have that twin thing, I don't know if I have that same understanding of how to talk to people with different personalities. Like I really think I can reach any type of person, not to toot my own horn.
I feel like that too.
But I do think I can connect with any type of person because I understand what it's like to be in different positions.
I feel like that too. I used to be like that in high school. I used to talk to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not everybody, but like I would still be cool with like with some chill people.
Yes. Because it's like we just understand.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, if you didn't have that shift, do you think you'd have, like, the same understanding? Because if you were just, like, your own person, just, with your personality now that you've always had, that's crazy. How can we even know? We don't know what we'd be like without our twins.
What do you say? You want to talk about empathy, feeling your twins' emotion, but not with details.
Okay. Yeah, you know,
you just
when your twin is sad, you're just going to be really sad. I don't know. Are you really sad? Like, when your twin is sad? Or just, like, when they don't get what they want?
We didn't see each other sad that often.
Well, me and India are real criers. So, like, when one of us is, like, really sad, you can just feel it. I don't know. Just, like, because we just know each other's facial expressions. Like, we know everything. So then it's just, like, when they're, like, clearly trying to hide something or just, like, really just, like, upset, you just can tell. So other people might not be able to tell, and they might be treating them like extremely normally, even parents. But just like you aren't on the same page.
Yeah,
you're on a different level.
I feel like me and Ethan being boys, probably we are like a lot less expressive.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Ethan would always have like a poker face unless something was happening. Like we would just walk in the room
that you knew about.
Well, yeah. So I would like half the time when I'm at home, it would be like this.
Oh really?
My mom's yelling at me. That used to get on my nerves. That's probably the one thing I picked up. How to not react externally.
Mm-hmm.
She used to be screaming in my face like, I just look at her. and then one thing that got me in trouble one time. This when it first started. She was yelling at me, and then she had a mirror in her room, and I just looked at the mirror like that, and she caught me doing it. She was like, "Don't look at yourself like that. What are you?" I was laughing. She's like, "Don't you dare!" That's the funniest thing. It's so fun. Being a twin is fun too, guys.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about the good.
We were just talking about
all the negativity.
That's because that's what people need to know. People do already know about the fun stuff.
Already.
Yeah, but like, let's talk about the fun stuff.
Let's see. I mean, I didn't used to like addressing how funny Ethan is, but I used to be cracking up. He used to make me so salty. He used to make me so salty, and then he'd start joking, and I'd be poker face like, "Shut up." It would be like that, but it would be so funny. And then like times when I did laugh, we used to like, I don't even know, like the summer before we came to college, it just used to be funny all the time. Mm-hmm. It would just be goofy all the time. That's when we actually like started to like experience things together, I'd say. Like separately, but like together.
And like would tell each other?
Sort of.
You guys didn't really tell each other your business, did you?
I mean, like, it was not our business. Like, he would know surface stuff. But like, I feel like we didn't need to know the details unless it was bad. We just assumed the best. Hope for the best.
Yeah. I'd say same. Like, India says I'm funnier, and I always say she's funnier. Because, like, everything, like, we were at a volleyball game the other day, and just, like, every little tiny mannerism and move she was doing was just making me laugh so hard. But then, like, there's been other nights where she's just laughing at everything I do. Those are the best nights, because it's just, like, everything is just, like, so in sync. The world just feels great when you and your twin are completely in sync, and you're out together just, like, living life. I don't know. That sounds so dramatic.
When we started playing, like, basketball on the same team, other than the fact, like, one of us would score more than the other, it would be, like, fun. You'd, like, you just hand your brother it's, like, weird playing on the same team. Mm-hmm. And, like, when we both used to do good in track.
Yeah.
And then he would watch me win, and then I go watch him win. That would be a W.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one time me and Indy got Player of the Week in the same week for volleyball.
We both got Freshman of the Year because they couldn't separate it.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we've gotten that too. Yeah.
They couldn't separate it, and I understand why. Cause like we kind of did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We both used to place like third, fourth,
like every week.
in our jumping event, and then like do one running event. But we get like a lot of points off that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what can you really?
See, I got
separate?
Freshman of the Year solo. Because if I had to share that.
Oh my goodness.
Just kidding.
That's why we had football and soccer growing up too. But then I was like, I don't care about football. I'm doing this to not do soccer. And I realized I didn't like football.
And you were good too.
Okay, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
It was one of those things like.
That's me with volleyball. I just straight up didn't want to do it. Only reason I did it for so long, and I'm just so mad at myself for committing, because like that was just dumb. Because I knew I didn't want to.
Committing.
I committed to Emory. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
Anyways, because I think I could have like put more effort into like other college applications and stuff, because like I thought I was going to Emory at the time. So like, whatever. But I didn't even want to do it. Like I just wanted. Well, for one, it was a 2-for-1 deal. Like most of the time, because teams wanted us, so like they were like, okay, well, whatever. And I was like, okay, if my parents are already gonna be gone anyways, I don't want to be home alone. So I was like, I might as well. But I really didn't care at all. People would be like, oh my God, you did so good. I get like a college coach's email, phone number, whatever. Wouldn't email them back. Wouldn't text them back. Not to be rude. I just didn't. I didn't. That's not what I wanted at all. Like, at all. And I knew that. But it was so hard for me to admit, because it's just like, I don't know. I just think that was like another part of that I like connected. That was another part of something that she really wanted, that like I just thought, okay, well, we both just did it, so let's just both do it. But I really realized senior year, I was like, this is not what I want.
You still played the whole season, right?
I played high school season, but I didn't do club. I literally couldn't do it. She played club at the beginning. That was the first time we ever didn't play the same club team.
And
that's crazy.
That was great, wasn't it?
It was, oh my God, it was awesome.
What, do you just feel like you had free time?
And no pressure. And also, like, we're just two very different players. Like, I'm pretty, like, I think I'm a lot, like, more chill. She's super emotional. She's a very emotional player, which can be awesome. And it can also be, like, hindering sometimes. Like, if you play, but she cares. Like, she's passionate. So that's, like, what it is. You're going to be emotional when you're passionate. But, like, I wasn't passionate, so I wasn't emotional. Like, I could do a great thing. Didn't care. I would turn around. I remember people would, like, I just wouldn't even cheer at a point. Like, I just turn around and be like, because I think I was just like, okay. Like,
I feel that.
Yeah, but, yeah.
For sure. Let me just see what I got left, bro.
This is a long video.
The podcast will, anyways.
With J&J.
Yeah. This could be the last and final question. What's the biggest lesson you've got from being a twin?
I think I've learned a lot of lessons. But I would say that the biggest lesson is, I'm thinking of a lot of different words right now in my brain, and it's not coming to a consensus.
Take your time.
But I would say probably one of the biggest lessons that I learned was just to, like, can I say like a piece of advice maybe?
Sure.
I'd say just focus on yourself. I just can't emphasize that enough. Like, I was constantly worried about what she was doing. Constantly. And that just took so much out of me. And I probably could have put my energy in so many other places. And I find myself comparing myself to other people too, now as well. So I just, like, I need to give my own self right now this advice. Like, stop comparing yourself. Because everyone is at such different journeys. And everyone's life looks so different. Like, even now, I'm like, when people are like, oh my God, I want to do this with my major, and I'm so excited and passionate, but I don't really know what I want to do. And then I start comparing myself. Oh my God, I don't know. What are people going to think? But, like, you just need to relax. Like, focus on yourself. And also, remember, everyone is way more focused on themselves. No one's thinking about you that much. So don't think about what they're thinking about you so much. If you're picking up what I'm putting out.
Mad profound.
All right. You?
Oh. I'd probably say something similar, you know. Those who were seen dancing were said to be insane by those who could not hear the music. And I feel like everybody's viewing people dancing their own dance without music. So whatever image we think of people, they're definitely perceive it as different in their own heads.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can't really delve into somebody's head and truly understand where they're coming from, or that goes for like your own judgments of people too.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you can't really place your own judgment of people because you know it's only coming from you. And people often see it different because they have like their own biases and stuff. And no, not one person's perspective is going to be like wholly right. I don't think there is like a right perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think that only like comes into play when there's like moral issues, because I feel like you can know what's right from wrong.
Oh, okay.
But like with stuff like perspective, like the reasons for why I did something, you can always like assume why someone did something, but you'll never really know.
Unless you ask them.
They might not even know for real.
Yeah, but I do think like communication is definitely another huge lesson I learned. Like, just how to communicate. Well, I'm not the best. I'm not the best with conflicts. Some people could attest to that, so I'm not even gonna claim that.
You'll communicate.
But yes, but I do think that I can like communicate ideas and like definitely taking the time to understand where other people is coming from is a big lesson that I learned through being a twin, because like it's just so easy, like I said before, just to think you're the only one suffering. But no, we're all out here. Struggling. Everyone's suffering from something.
Everybody's not mentally okay. Everybody at this institution.
For real. No. But yeah, everyone is suffering through something. Everyone feels inferior in a way in some part of their life. And okay, maybe you aren't super insecure about it, but like everyone can recognize that you're better in some areas, worse in some areas. Mm-hmm. So just like if you're worse in that area, don't think that you're just like a horrible, terrible, garbage human being because of that. Like either work on it or like focus on the things that you're awesome at.
Yeah. www. Thank you.